Hey, this is Noah, and today we're going to solve this Sudoku called XV 4.1 by NurglesGift. Take a look at the rules. First rule, normal Sudoku rules apply. That means the numbers 1 through 9 must appear in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Cells connected by an X must sum to 10. Cells connected by a V must sum to 5. You'll see the X's and the V's on the puzzle in a second. All X's and V's are given, which means that if two digits do not have an X between them, they cannot sum to 10. Those digits are adjacent. And if two adjacent digits do not have a V between them, they cannot sum to 5. Cells connected by a white dot must be consecutive. Cells connected by a black dot must be in 1-to-2 ratio. It sounds like a lot of rules. This is mostly an XV puzzle, so that's the one that we'll focus on, and let's get started. So here is the puzzle. One thing you'll notice, no numbers. We've got our X's, so we know that these two cells sum to 10. We've got some V's. These two cells sum to 5. And up here, we got our one little white dot, so these two cells need to have consecutive values, like 1 and 2, or 6 and 7, and these two cells must be in a 1-to-2 ratio, so like 2 and 4, 4 and 8, 3 and 6, or 1 and 2. And don't forget that we have this negative constraint, so if two cells do not have an X between them, they cannot sum to 10. And if two cells do not have a V between them, they cannot sum to 5. So these two cannot sum to 5 or 10. I want to tell you a little bit about a method that I use for solving XV Sudokus, which is using colors. So we'll start with colors before we get to numbers. So a lot of this will be coloring, which is, to me, what makes this kind of puzzle fun. The way I use colors is by noting that there are, first of all, 4 ways to make two cells sum to 10. 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, or 4 and 6. And basically what I do is I assign each pair a color. So I don't know which pair of numbers will be associated with which color, but for example, it might be the case that yellow is 6 and 6 and 4, and blue is 7 and 3, etc. The nice thing about colors is we don't need to actually enter the numbers, so we can just use the colors without knowing which numbers they correspond to. I also, the way I use these colors is I make the light number, or the light color, a number from 1 to 4, and the dark color, a number from 6 to 10. Each way of computing 10 has a low number associated with it and a high number, so they kind of belong together in a pair. So for example, for 6-4, it might be that is yellow, light yellow is 6, or light yellow is 4, because it's the low number, and then dark yellow is 6. Again, we don't know which is which, so we're not making any specific connection between the colors and the numbers. We're just allowing the light to be some number between 1 and 4, and the dark to be some number between 6 and 9. Thinking about these V's, so these two digits, each pair needs to sum to 5. The way I like to do this is I have a hot 5, which has yellow and pink or red, and then a cool 5, which is green and blue. And one of these is 1-4, and the other is 2-3. I don't know which is which yet, but we know that if this is 1-4, this is 2-3. And the final thing to know about these types of puzzles is that there's this kind of other digit, 5. 5 cannot go in any V cells or in any X cells. And I always color it with gray. All right, with all that, let's get started. One strategy for these puzzles is to look at where the 5s can and can't go. They can't go on any X or V cells. And we can see that in this box, in this 3x3 box, the only cell that is not part of an X or a V is this one. So this must be the 5. Similarly, in this column, the only cell that's not part of an X or a V is this. So this must be a 5. And we know that one of these is a 5, but that's not enough information for me yet. We also know that one of these, 3, but not this one, is a 5. Still going to hold back on coloring 5s. To get started, what I usually do is I kind of look for a pair of V's or a pair of cells connected by a V and kind of arbitrarily assign one color. So I don't know what red and pink mean yet, but I know that they're part of this, the hot 5, whatever that is, either the 2, 3, or 1, 4. Because this red, light red is on this X, we know this must be dark red. We can ask where dark yellow can go in this box. Remember that if two cells are adjacent and they don't have an X between them, they cannot sum to 10, which means they're not going to have the same color. So for example, this could not be dark yellow because it is next to light yellow, which means these two cells would add up to 10, but there's no X between these cells. So this can't be dark yellow. This can't be dark yellow because it would need to have light yellow as its partner, but light yellow is already used here. So neither of these can be dark yellow. Neither of these. This one obviously can't be. This one can't be for the same reason as this one, which is that it is next to light yellow but doesn't have a 10. Or there's no X between them. And it can't be here either, because if this were dark yellow, this would be light yellow, but there's already a light yellow in that row. So the only spot left for dark yellow is here, which means we know that light yellow is here. We can then ask where light yellow goes in this column. It has to go in one of these two cells with its friend dark yellow. Actually, dark yellow can't go here, because if dark yellow we know is between 6 and 9, but these two cells need to add up to 5. So this needs to be the other half of that hot 5. Okay, moving along, making progress. Okay, we can take a look at this other V, which is seen by this V. So we know this can't be the hot V because this cell can be neither light red nor light yellow. So it must be either light green or light blue. I'll just call it light green for now, which means its friend is light blue. Now, because these two cells add up to 10, this must be dark green. And we can ask where light green could go in this box. Light green can't go in either of these two because it would need to be with its friend dark green, but dark green's already in that box. So light green has to be here, which means that must be dark green. Which means we know that these two must be blue. We don't know which is which yet, but we'll probably be able to figure that out pretty soon. Looking across here at this V, we can see that this has to be a cool V, so it has to be because it's seen by both cells of this hot V. So this must be light green and light blue. Light green is already in this row, so this must be the light blue, and this is the light green. Great. We can look again at this column and maybe ask whether this can be a blue 10, blue X. If it were, this would be dark blue and light blue, but then this cell would have no value. So this cannot be the blue X. It must be a green one, which means this remaining cell must be blue, and so must these two, because they're friends. Okay. This cell is very restricted. We know it can't be green or blue. It can't be either of the yellows. It can't be gray, and it can't be light red, so it has to be dark red. Which means somewhere up here we need to have a gray, a dark yellow, and a light red, but unfortunately we don't know which goes where yet. Let's see. Up here, we in this whole column, we need the other one of these, so either light blue or dark blue. We need a light green. That will be important. And that's it. Now, we know that light green has to be in one of these two. And so what you might ask, can light blue be in the other one? And the answer is no, because if it were, then these two would add up to 5. So for example, if this was our scenario, this is exactly what this is a cool 5, but there's no V between them. So that's forbidden. So this cannot be the light blue, and therefore it must be light green with dark blue, which means we know that this is not the dark blue, this is not the light blue, this is not the dark blue, and this is not the light blue. Here we have a V. It can't be the hot V, so it's got to be the cool one. Don't know which is which. And here, it can't be the cool one, so it must be the hot one. Still don't know which is which. Now, looking at this X, we know that the light digit can be neither light pink or light red nor light yellow, so it must be green or blue. But we know this also cannot be a blue 10 because it's seen by both cells of this blue 10, which means if it were blue, the cell could have no value. So we know it must be a green 10. Because these must contain a light green, we know that this cannot be light green. So this is light blue. And this cannot be light green because if it were, then these two cells would add up to 5, but they don't have a V between them. So that's forbidden. This light green sees that cell, so that must be dark, and this one must be light. Great. We can ask where light blue can go in this box. Can't go in any of these because of this light blue. Can't go in any of these because of this light blue. It can't be in either of these because then this would need to be a blue 10, but it can't be because it's seen by both cells of this blue 10. So this is the only spot for light blue. Similarly, we can ask where dark blue can go. Can't be on any of these X's because it needs its friend, light blue, which is already taken. Can't be in here because it's already taken. And it can't be here because that would be next to a light blue, but there's no X between them. So we know that this must be dark blue. And the only space for a 5 left in this box is right there. So we know that this is not a 5. We can ask where dark blue can go in this column. Can't go there because it's seen by that dark blue. Can't go there because it's next to this light blue, but there's no X between them, so it must be there. So we know that these are going to be dark yellow and dark red. Again, don't know which is which yet. And we can ask what this cell could be. Well, it can't be any shade of green or blue. Can't be light red or light yellow or dark red or dark yellow. So it must be gray. It must be the 5. Here's a little interesting bit of logic. Let's suppose, for example, this was light red. Then we might ask, like, which of these can be the red X? And the answer is neither, because this cell can't be either light red or dark red, and nor can this, which means none of them can be. So we know that this actually is not pink or light red. Doesn't really get us anywhere, but just thought it was a little interesting bit of logic. Let's see. Looking across here, we can, or I guess we can ask where light blue and dark blue can go in this row. Can't go in any of these cells because there's already light blue and dark blue in this box, or here. So we're wondering where in these three can light blue and dark blue go. I think we don't really have enough information, but we know that actually light blue and dark blue can't be next to each other because there would need to be an X separating them, but there isn't. So the only way that that would be possible is if these two were the blues, and of course this light blue sees that one, so that can't be light, and that one can't be dark. Now we can ask where light green can go. Light blue always puts a constraint on light green because light green can't go next to light blue unless there's a V, which there isn't. And we also have some light green information across, so none of these can be light green because of that one. That can't be light green because of that one. This can't be light green because it's next to the light blue. This can't be light green because it's next to the light blue and sees that one, which means this is the only spot for light green. Let's see. We know one of these two must be dark green. Don't know how helpful that is. We know this is a hot 5, but again, not very helpful there. We know one of these two is dark blue, which means in this row, dark blue must be in one of these two cells. Not crazy useful, but I'm just taking stock of what we have. We can maybe ask what this cell could be. Can't be any of the light colors. Can't be 5, so it's got to be dark. Can't be dark yellow, there's already one in the box. Can't be dark green, because it's next to the light green, but there's no X. Can't be dark blue, because it's already dark blue, so must be dark red. And these two remaining cells must come from dark green and light blue, which are allowed next to each other. Let's see. Thinking about light green in this box, can't be in these two, can't be in these, can't be in that one, so it's got to be one of these two. Not extremely helpful. We know one of these must be dark blue, and the others, whichever of the dark one this isn't. Thinking about dark green in this column, but I don't know if that's really going to get us anywhere. It'd be great if we could figure out what these two were, but I don't think we have enough information for that yet. And let's think about where light blue could go in this box. Can't go in any of these cells. It's got to be one of these two. but still not helping us very much. Having a bit of a pause. This can't be light red because it's next to a dark red, but there's no X between them, which means this is the only spot for a light red in this box. Does that teach us anything? A little bit. We can ask whether this could be a yellow 10, regardless of whether the dark or the light yellow is on top or bottom. One of them is going to be next to the dark yellow here, but that's forbidden. If the dark yellow is next to it, then you have two dark yellows in the same spot or in the same row. And if the light yellow is next to it, then you have two yellows next to each other without an X between them. So we know this cannot be the yellow X, and therefore it must be the red one. That one can't be dark red, so that one must be light red, and this one therefore is dark red. And so our light yellow, or a yellow X, must be here. Which means we don't yet know which one is light and dark, but we'll find that out pretty soon, I think. Therefore this cannot be yellow. This cannot be red. This cannot be the dark yellow because it's next to the light yellow. This can't be dark red. Great. We learned a lot just there. Looking across here, what are we missing? Light yellow and gray for 5. And looking across here, we are missing dark red. And across here, we need dark yellow and light red. But I don't think we have enough information yet beyond that. Up here, we still need our dark yellow. Can't be in that one. So that one must be blue. And that must be our dark yellow, which means this cannot be our light yellow. This cannot be our light pink. And where can dark red go up here? Can't go here because it's seen by that. Can't go here because it's next to a light red with no X. So our dark red is right in the middle. And we are left with gray, which can't go up here, so it must be here, and dark green. And that is going to disambiguate this pair, and this dark blue is disambiguating this one. And that is going to be useful. Looking across, this cannot be our light green. This cannot be our light blue. Now this can't be dark blue because it's next to light blue, but there's no X, which is going to teach us something down here. Now this can't be light red. What we've got remaining in this row, dark green, but we know that can't go there because it's next to the light green. And this cannot be, or this must be dark yellow. This is getting rid of dark yellow down here. Looking across here, we have gray and light red left, but not enough information to disambiguate. And up here, we need dark red and light yellow, and also not enough information, although we could ask if this could be light red or pink. It's going to be either next to dark red, which means it would add up to 10, but there's no X, or light yellow, which would mean it adds up to 5, but there's no V. So we know this cannot be light red, actually, and therefore must be the gray, the 5. And we have our light red here, our gray here. Hasn't disambiguated anything else just yet. Where can dark red or light red go in this row? Must go here, which clears that up for us. And that is also no longer dark yellow, and that is no longer dark green. Great. Dark green in this box. Neither of these, nor that, and not that. So that is our dark green. Dark red must go there, which is going to disambiguate these two. And In this row, we still need dark yellow. Therefore, this cannot be light yellow because there's no V between it and its neighbor upstairs. Our light yellow, therefore, must go here, which takes it out of that and clears a little bit up. And now we're done with the coloring, but have we finished the puzzle? No, there's no numbers in it yet. So without these dots, there would be no way to solve the puzzle, which is why they're here. So let's see how we can use them. So again, we know our dark colors are coming from 6, 7, 8, and 9. Our light colors are coming from 1, 2, 3, and 4. We know that these two cells need to be in a 1:2 ratio, which means that this must be either a 6 or an 8. This does, and therefore this must be either a 3 or a 4. This does tell us that the light red must be either a 2 or a 4, so that it can add up to 10. We also know that our light green must be either a 1 or a 2, and therefore our dark green must be an 8 or a 9. And our light red must be a 1 or a 3, and our dark yellow must be either a 7 or a 9. Now, the only combination where that satisfies the white dot constraint, which is that these two values need to be adjacent, they need to be consecutive, would be if this is 1 and this is 2. So we know our light green is going to be 1, which means our dark green is 9, and our light red must be 2. So our light yellow must be 3, our dark red must be 8, our dark yellow must be 7, our light blue must be 4, dark blue must be 6, and our gray, we already knew, 5. And we're done.